Nate G 219 to help it back and better. Y'all know what it is. Another one coming at y'all. First, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help out. Today is Saturday, September 14th. 7:15 in the morning. Irrelevance. But today's story is a story I had covered briefly before. I did a story about him, but didn't get much exposure, and more things have unfolded with this story. Unfortunately, not the things that should be unfolding. So this is a story about a father from pure hell, a father that should never have the title father, which he's not a dad. He's not a dad at all. He's a biological father to some children, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's it. That's all he is. This man, his name is Nathan Parrish. They call him Crazy Nate. He claims Spanish gangster disciple. So at one point in time, him and I, we were very close. Now, I haven't known the man for a very long time. I met him in 2016, I believe. And I had done like a 45-day jail stint, nothing real long or anything. And while doing this 45 days, this is a man I had met, and him, just like me, had in the recent months had lost our mothers, and it was about a month apart. So we were both in a mental area that was not great. I mean, just very, very bad state of mind. My mother's funeral was the beginning of January. She had passed a couple days after Christmas, right after I had came home, and his mom was, I think, a month to the day behind. So this was February of 2016, and I came home March that year on the probation. But the story isn't about me today. The story is about him. This man, we became very close. We were brothers, and well, I mean, although we weren't the same exact organization, we were pretty close anyways. I mean, he was Latin folks. I wasn't considered Latin folks. Whatever, you know. There was still a little gang banging going on, but not like, it's because when I went to county, people knew me as who I was, and it wasn't that I was actively gang banging. It's just that's who I was talking to. And when you're in a dorm with 60 to 70 people, 20 of them are GDs or are affiliated with the Gangster Disciples, you tend to group together, eat together, and you know, it's just how it works. Well, us two were both one of these guys that would be eating together. We would, you know, hang out. He was doing tattoos. I don't think he ever did any tattoos on me, but he did do some tattoos in there. I watched him butcher some people, so he didn't do any tattoos on me now that I remember. Now, I had, like I said, I came home in March, and he had left like 2 days prior to that. So I want to say I came home March 16th or March 14th, and we had actually met up, but I wasn't on using the dope at this point in time. Like, I'd already done my prison stint, and I hadn't turned back to heroin. And at this point in time, he wasn't doing any heroin. He wasn't doing anything like that. He wasn't doing much of anything except his own prescriptions that he didn't even do all them of, because he sold most of them. But that's neither here nor there. This man, he met this woman who had, I don't know how old the daughter was at the time, but she's 14 or 15 years old. And Nate meets this wonderful woman. Now, she's not a rich woman, but it's her and her daughter. And they have a nice trailer in a decent area. No, they're not rich, but they're not poor by any means. And are their lives wonderful? No, but their life was a good life for what they had. And this man strolls in and just completely 180'd everything about the mother's life. So fortunately, the daughter was able to escape the horrors that were to come. But shortly after Nate moved in with this woman, they became pregnant with a beautiful little girl. Little girl's got to be 8 now, 9 maybe. I don't know off the top of my head. But so the one kid comes along, and now the older sister, now 15, 16, starting to feel a little off-put, like, you know, I was mama's baby. But you know what? She dealt with it. She was a great big sister, and next thing you know, mama's pregnant again. Well, the child comes along, and he's an awesome little boy, but then another child comes along, and a week prior to that boy's birth, my wife and I were sitting there talking to them. Didn't even know she was pregnant. Hidden the pregnancy the whole time from everybody, doctors, everything. The baby had had no prenatal care, no nothing. And I did know that the mother was doing a little party, and then it was only because of Nate introducing certain things to him and her, and they would be partying together, and he got her to become dependent on these drugs. And meanwhile, she's pregnant. So she has this baby like a week later, and you know, I'm done. That's what she had said after the little girl was born, and the little boy, now this little boy, and now guess what? A fourth child comes along. And conditions are getting worse. Now, the daughter had made some accusations about Nate hitting on her, attempting to, I don't remember the exact accusation, because whatever she said happened, I honestly now believe happened. At that point in time, I didn't believe. I believed that she was just an angry young girl. Now, I don't believe the case at all, because, you know, now that these 4 kids are becoming older, they're becoming more and more poor. He's becoming highly, highly addicted to, you know, which drugs, all of them. It's which one do you have? It was everything. Everything, the smoking meth, shoving needles in his arm, and he was intentionally getting the mother addicted to these drugs. And it's just a sick situation. So I wish this was the worst part of it, because it's not. Now, I had started putting myself aside, like I would check on the kids and stuff like that, and you know, they had ended up moving from that trailer in Chesterton to this basically the rundown trailer in Black Oak, west side of Gary. Like, you don't you don't want to be in Black Oak. You're not up to any good if you're running the streets of Black Oak. It's a part of Gary that's run down with drugs, prostitution. Just, if you want it, you're gonna find it. And that goes for anything there. Anything is there. You're gonna find death, you're gonna find drugs, you're gonna find a couple good people. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there are some great soul food restaurants in that area. I'm not gonna lie. Man, I love them. And I do on occasion, when I'm at work, if I get a chance, stop at some of those places. I don't make special trips out there because it's not a safe place. It's just not the smartest place to have to go, and me being who I had been before, I'm just not gonna intentionally go out to that portion of Gary. That's just a bad area. There's no reason for me to go out there. But while Nate and the 4 kids and the wife were living there, I did go check on them. Now, 2 times I had called CPS on Nate. Me, I did it. Because these kids were being beaten. And it was very visible. Black eyes, and you could see a grown man's fist print across a 3-year-old boy's face. And this is when they were living in Gary in Lake County. And so, it didn't even get so bad that he's messing with this broad named Maria. And, you know, Maria, you know who I'm talking about, you nasty, skanky, dope fiend. I mean, you're sick. If it wasn't you, it was him. One night, Nate wasn't there. Nate was either running around with Mariah, might be Mariah, I don't know. Idiot, dumb woman that can't understand normal thinking. And that's an acronym. And just think about it. They can't understand normal thinking. Anybody that can't understand normal thinking is that acronym. She, whatever happened, now the mother was at home with the 4 children, and the trailer was lit on fire. It was an arson, and they never did anything. That nothing ever happened, no real investigation has ever happened, but there's no doubt that it was either him that did it because he hated his family so much, or people doing it to try to kill him because of all the crap he had been doing and running around. Now prior to this, before they even moved out to Gary, the poor little girl had been SA'd by, I'm not exactly sure who he was to the family, but he was a piece of crap, and his name was Jeremy something or another, but it gets worse, and it only gets worse for the kids and the mother. Screw this dude, Nate. His nickname Crazy at the time. It's still his nickname, I'm sure, is Crazy because he's in prison. Now, he did come home July 1st, but it wasn't even August 1st, and he was back in the same prison for a violation of parole. And he comes home in a few more months. But the daughter, okay, so after the trailer, they have to go somewhere. There's not many places to go. And the 6 of them move into a hotel room. You heard that right. The 6 of them are in a hotel room. Motel Elite. Now, this is this rundown, crack motel. I'm going to try to get a picture of the hotel, and I could drive and do that in 5 minutes. I might do that. Get a picture of the hotel and kind of show you where they were staying. And it's all fenced in. It's just a drug haven. And I went there and checked on the kids a few times, and it was just getting bad. And then I found out that right above them, like I said, it's riddled with drugs. Like, you're gonna find more drugs and prostitution behind that fenced-in hotel than you are at any. No, I mean, this is the real deal. Bottom of the bottom places of places, especially to have your family. And I'm not. They're paying $200 a week to live here, and upstairs, downstairs, there's drug dealers everywhere. But upstairs, I'm not exactly sure who it was. I wish I did, because I'd be putting their name all out there. But I can say Nathan and his brother Jacob, who is deceased now, and you know, I don't like to speak ill will on deceased people, but if what he was doing with this beautiful little girl and Nate was doing with this beautiful little girl had never happened, I would never speak ill will on them. They were taking this little girl, leaving her with this drug dealer, making money from leaving this little girl with the drug dealer, and I don't even want to know what happened. Now, he's never been charged with any of these crimes. He's never been charged with abuse. I've got pictures, I've got video, and I've showed CPS. Police have seen it. And, you know, I don't care what anybody says. If you're telling on a pedophile, you're not telling at all. If you don't tell on a pedophile and you don't take them out, you're nothing at all. Like, if you know somebody's hurt a child and you don't do something about it, you're not a human being, and you deserve to rot in hell along with the monster. If you choose to defend and protect them, I don't care where they live, what they are, or man, hell with you. Screw you. Sorry, I got off my train of thought. But yeah, this little girl was being taken up to this drug dealer's. Now, remember how I said the mother was being given drugs and was, next thing she known, addicted to drugs. Like, I'm not talking addicted to a couple painkillers. I'm talking drugs, like the real stuff. The heroin. Like, she was getting sick if she didn't have things. And she was sheltered. She didn't really know what was going on. Now, she knew at one point, but she was in too deep by that point, if you know what I mean. And I would get calls, her crying, and I tried to do everything I could do. I'd even called CPS. I watched a Gary police officer hand this man, this monster, one of the babies. Well, the other one's sitting there with clearly the dad's fist, black eye. Oh, that was an accident. I accidentally backhand. Like, we've all accidentally swung our hands down and bumped our kids. I've never left bruises like that. Now, of course, roughhousing, you'll get bruised up, but you're not roughhousing with a 2-3-year-old or a 4-year-old and leaving a black eye. You're not doing that. These kids weren't eating good. They were not clean. They were not being taken care of at all. It was only about the drugs and whatever they were doing upstairs. Now, I can't say for sure that she was being pimped out, but I believe she was being pimped out. And I'm going to say she was being pimped out, because if Nate gets out and wants to sue me for defamation of character, go ahead. His brother, Josh, unalived himself because he's such a coward in Porter County Jail. He didn't have any real serious cases here either. There might have been some domestic, but I thought it was just basically a DUI. Maybe he found out there were some charges coming up. And there might have been more proof against the brother that's no longer on this earth, Jacob Parrish. But, you know, I just wanted to get that one out. It's a story that really ticks me off. And like I said, this man, he went to prison now. It was for domestic battery on a child under the age of 14, if I remember correctly, is the exact conviction. He got a 1-year sentence to serve 6 months, and he went to prison. He came home, his out date was July 1st, but within 3 weeks, he was back behind the fence of Westville Penitentiary. Now, I don't know exactly what for, because I couldn't find a new charge, but whatever it is, he's back in prison, and he's going to come back home, and he's going to go back to doing the same crap. They were trying to contact me. That crack slut of a woman, Maria, she's just as guilty and disgusting as Nate and his brother. But hey, never forget life's choices, guys. Don't, because you never know what it may lead. You might think you meet this nice, kind man, and next thing you know, 4 years later, you're in a world of hell. But don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help out. And hey, if they ain't hating it, you ain't making it. Peace.